Okay, peace, y'all. It's your brother, Mr. Holipsism. I got my brother Thuro on the line with me.
Peace.
Minister can't be here. He just let me know that.
Okay, peace, y'all. It's your brother, Mr. Holipsism.
Oh,
Let me
where,
turn this
where
off.
you at?
Got my
Oh,
brother
that's you. Okay.
Yeah, I just turned it off.
Yeah. So me and him both said we really wanted to get Minister in on this conversation. So we're not going to go too in depth tonight. We'll probably reschedule for another night. But in the meantime, let's just give some brief thoughts on what we felt about the film. Just so y'all know where we're coming from. So, what is your take on it, bro?
Oh, I want you to go first.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
I thought it was a solid film. I think, like, if you look at it within the context of the MCU, it reminded me of a Phase 1 origin story. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't, I wouldn't put it in, you know, Captain America Winter Soldier category,
Of course not.
you know, or anything like that. But it was like we had a good time. I went with my girl, my cousin, a couple of friends. Everybody enjoyed it. The audience seemed to enjoy it. It wasn't a dumpster fire or bad. Because there's some people saying it was horrible. I'm like, damn, what movie was you looking at?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I agree.
But for me, it was a solid movie. There were some things in there creatively that I had an issue with, but it didn't take away from the movie. Like I thought that the creative decision to make Nick Fury's eye turn that into a joke, I think, I can understand how people could be upset with that.
Yes.
Like that was a
Yeah.
legitimate thing where I could say, "Oh, come on, y'all, that's what you did," you know. But
Yeah.
other than that, it didn't really take away from the movie for me.
Yeah, I actually laughed at that, but it was
Yeah,
kind of like it was sort of like the Juggernaut butt plug a little bit. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's like
exactly.
he's supposed to get that from like some war or something. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, or something, like 'cause
nah.
they build it up as a part of his mythos. So you figure that would be something, that they would have taken seriously. So I can understand that people were upset by that, but
Hmm.
I was just like, like I laughed when it happened,
Yeah.
but in retrospect, I'm like, you could have did something better with that
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
because they made it
So
seem like in his lore, he made it seem like he was betrayed by somebody. That was the
yeah,
impression that you got.
but I think that's kind of what makes it funny because he's trying to keep his image intact.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? So you're gonna lie about that? Like, yo, some cat scratched my eye out. Like, you ain't gonna tell nobody that. When you Nick Fury, you know what I'm saying? Director of Shield.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you that it was like a phase one movie. Um, what I found like, okay, so I heard we're gonna talk about some of the complaints,
Hmm.
that happened before the movie even came out. But one of the things that I noticed about the movie, of course, they're trying to be, quote unquote, diverse and trying to make a I guess we could call it an empowerment movie, but at the same time, make it like, well, it could have just been a man who played that part. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
So one of the things that I noticed that stood out the most to me was the fact that she didn't have a love interest. That
Right.
stood out to me. That they didn't
Right.
even want to sidetrack or make it seem like some man needed to be her shoulder. You know what I mean? Like something.
Right.
I thought that was interesting because most of the times, like even in Wonder Woman, she banged some dude in the movie. You know,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
I found that interesting. When it comes to her acting or whatever, see, the thing about it is, I don't even know what Marvel wanted her to be like in the movie. You follow what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
sometimes you'll say, well, she can't act. And then what we don't realize is they tell you how they want this character to be portrayed. And so, okay, so what did you think about how her personality was in the movie?
I think it one of the themes in the movie was how they kept telling her she needed to control her emotions and not let her emotions get the best of her. So I think that that was one of the things that she concentrated on in terms of delivery. I personally did not have a problem with her. Like I when she came on and when they introduced her, I was along for the ride. Like I didn't have there was nothing about her performance that made me go, eh. You know, like the
Yeah.
movie, like people was I was prepared because like I was hearing so much stuff before I saw it. I was just expecting certain things. Like they said, oh, it's boring. I'm like, well, where did that happen? Because it seemed to hop along pretty at a good, pace for me. I didn't
Yes.
see any parts in there that was dragging or anything like that.
Oh, I did. I definitely did. The second act was kind of a little boring. And I think that's
Really?
where they dropped it. Yes, I think they dropped the ball in the middle of the movie because, like I said, I understand that they have to explain,
Hmm.
why she had amnesia, what her life was before uh, she became who she is or whatever. And I think they kind of wrote that a little too slow. I think they could have done a better job with it. And okay, so also,
But did it stand out for you? Because for me, like, all right, I can see where you're coming from, but it doesn't really stand out for me. Like nothing that I saw took away from what I was watching. Like there was never a point where I was sitting there going, "Oh God, come on, what y'all doing?" You know what I mean?
it seemed a little forced to me. Like when the original Captain Marvel, the little sister, when she was showing her the um the photos. That was
Hmm.
a little forced to me. You know what I mean? It just I don't know. I wasn't a
That's
fan of the second act.
that's funny because like I was talking to my cousin, and that was his favorite part of the movie.
Really?
Yeah. So that's it. Just go to show you, like it's all about perception.
Yeah,
Because he
taste.
liked he liked that part.
Yeah, I thought it was a little forced. Um, so let me ask you this. This is gonna be a weird question. But did you find her feminine?
No,
I didn't either.
no. So
And I
that's the
think they did
thing.
that on purpose.
Yeah, I think so. And the thing about it was like everything that everybody was complaining about or that thought that this movie was about, it had nothing to do with. Like there was really I thought Wonder Woman was more hitting you over the head with that shit than this movie was.
It was. It definitely was.
You
It
know?
definitely was.
And my whole thing is, and this is my take on it seriously. That's why I put the anti-SJW tears on this thing. Let's say that they did make it. Let's say that they wanted to make this movie a complete feminist, love love fest. So fucking what? That's one movie out of what?
Yeah.
Even if that was the agenda, who gives a fuck? It's one movie out of like 100 movies you see. That's the one movie where you see that there's a feminist agenda, even though there was none in this movie. Because, like you said, she didn't have a love interest. Um,
She she
she
didn't come
didn't
off
seem,
feminine.
yeah, she didn't come off as a woman in the movie.
No.
She was just treated like as her title.
Yep.
I
Nothing
mean,
besides her being a woman was this being a woman based. I mean, a movie based off a woman. You feeling what I'm saying? Like
exactly,
that's it.
exactly,
You could have put a man in her part.
exactly.
Had the same movie.
Hmm.
So yeah, they kind of jumped the gun on that.
Because even the relationship with her friend, it wasn't a particularly feminine relationship.
No.
Like you said, you could have replaced that with a dude and you would have got the same emotional effect
Yep.
if it was two dudes in that situation. So yeah, it's like everything, that everybody was complaining about. And I find it funny that the complaints did absolutely nothing in returns of the box office. That
Half
was
a billion already.
Yeah, that was hysterical to me. It's like you guys really, really think a whole lot of yourselves.
Yep.
And I was watching, like, just to get off track, I like to get to the controversies there. I've been hearing guys online, like white dudes online, even the ones that agree with her overall point that she was making, still say, "Oh, well, she could have said it in a better way." And I'm like, "Man, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
serious? Like, if white,
White
it's
male
just something
fragility.
hysterical. Yeah, it's just something hysterical about white men crying about being discriminated against. I just find hysterical.
Yes.
Like y'all
Yep.
done shat on and put your boot on the neck of so many people for so many years, and now all of a sudden, all you got, and basically you ain't being attacked. All you're being asked to do is just kind of fall back a little, and that's
Yep.
that's that's outrageous that anybody would even suggest that.
Yep. Now, it's no coincidence that this movie and Black Panther were the two most controversial Marvel movies
Right.
thus far. It's no coincidence
Hmm.
that people were calling Black Panther overrated because it did not reflect them. White males do not like watching movies that don't reflect them.
Right.
Um, we had this discussion before. Hollywood admits to this, and we've all seen it. They do overseas posters. They have to shrink the black actors on the poster or completely take them off.
Hmm.
You see how Black Panther did in China. They wasn't feeling that. You follow what I'm saying? So we know that movie audiences, when it comes to white people, their racism don't change because they walked into a theater.
Hmm.
Shout out to Mello. She trips when I say theater. It's theater. My bad, theater. But yeah, their racism doesn't change because they walk into one of them. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So those are the kind of things that, and that ties into even we're talking about with the merchandising. Like if you look at how Marvel didn't have a lot of merchandise for Black Panther, which is funny because it helped the hood out because black folks started printing up them Black Panther shirts and
Hmm.
started selling them. But the reason they didn't have a lot because it was a social experiment for Marvel, and so is Captain Marvel. Like they don't know how people are gonna feel about these heroes who aren't white. Check this out. So they had a I'm gonna find that link too and post it on my Facebook. They had an article back in the day, and it was they asked writers and comic artists why are black characters a hard sell? And so it was interesting to see what these big time artists and writers thought. And so um, I guess how you could sum it all up, put a bow on it is they were saying that when black characters are monsters, they're okay with us. So like if you Spawn,
Hmm.
if you Blade, if you anything like that, they're receptive to that because you psychologically you're still a monster to them. You're not a god because that's what comic book heroes are. They are gods,
Right.
and so if we're a flawed looking god, they can kind of deal with that better. But they were saying that yeah, that tends to be the only way that they really stand behind a character that and they have to make us flawed. That's why we get stereotyped, and that's why you had the Luke Cage, the jive talking, we black this, black that. They had to stereotype us for white males to digest a black character, and
Right.
that's still happening. And it, like I said, I'm not caping for white females, but the same thing happens to them because if you read comics or if you buy comics, you notice that look how nerds. All these things are coming from a nerd's perspective. Comic
Right.
books, they're nerd centric, and that's why if you look at Peter Parker, Reed Richards, Tony Stark, all these dudes are smart.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're all nerds, but they're the
Right.
cool guys. So
Right.
they're smart. Batman is a nerd. He's very smart, but he's a bachelor playboy because
Right.
this is how they vicariously live through these characters. So they're always nerds.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
on the flip side of that, if you look at how they treat women in comics, they're always half naked. They really not really taken seriously, and it's
Right.
still going on till this day. And what I find funny is when Black Panther came out, I saw brothers complaining that Lapita or the sister from Walking Dead, they're too manly. Like that's
Right.
funny. So from the black perspective, people were complaining that the women were too manly, not
Right.
feminine enough.
Hmm.
And then now you flip to the Bree side, she wasn't feminine at all. You follow what I'm saying? So it's
Exactly.
funny how people want these characters to be. And what my point is that these women are no different than men. They're gonna be what they are. It ain't based on their gender. Some of them gonna be quiet, some of them gonna be loud, some of them gonna be, you know what I mean? All types of personalities. It's not gonna just be a cookie cutter female character. They're gonna all have different personalities.
Right.
So sorry for that
Speaking
long rant.
No, that's good. Speaking of which, like I don't know if many people are familiar with The Walking Dead, the graphic, like the series, the actual comic.
Hmm.
But the Michonne on the television show is way more feminine than the one in the comic. The one in the comic is like hardcore.
Yeah.
She's like almost like a Dr. Spock type character,
Hmm.
you know? So I just find that interesting. But
Yeah.
yeah, what you said is true. It's like these guys live vicariously through these characters, and
Yes.
they feel it represents them. So when you bring other stuff into their world, it's almost like, you're messing around in their playpen.
Yeah, you are. That's the
Yeah.
only place where they can be cool.
Hmm.
They can't be cool in the real world. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So how you gonna mess up, like you said, their playground? Like you're messing it up. That's why they get so angry. Think about when Miles came out, the Black Spider-Man.
Hmm.
Shout out to that movie. That was a dope movie, by the way.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Um, I remember when he was first introduced in the Ultimate universe, and we didn't know who he was. They had him masked up, so you didn't know who he was. When he pulled that mask off in that panel, man, them nerves went ape shit, fam. N word this, N word that.
Yeah.
They went nuts, man. Like they
Hmm.
do not like you. And what's crazy about it is Miles is one of the most popular characters in Marvel Comics. But they
Exactly.
they they went ape shit. How could you make Spider-Man black? The same thing when Michael B. Jordan played, Human Torch. They went
Hmm.
crazy. Like they don't want you touching. And then the rumor about Michael B. Jordan playing, Superman, they were really losing. And what's crazy about it, if they read comics, they know there's black Superman in the comics.
Right.
So why are you tripping? They can go a whole other direction, man, but they just don't want to see that. They don't want to see it, dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't want
That's
to
the
see it.
reason why they had. I mean, they was really campaigning to make sure that this movie, because they felt empowered by what they felt they did with the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah. Yeah.
They felt empowered. They're like, oh shit, we was able to take it down. But I think that what they don't realize is that it didn't really have anything to do with them. It had more to do with, I think people is too much in their own bubble, and they don't realize that the average people they're not really on Star Wars like that. Like Star Wars does definitely have a strong fan base,
Hmm.
but like these offshoot movies, the average general public ain't gonna be going crazy over them like they would,
No, not at all.
you know. So that's why these movies it made. And so Solo, which I thought was pretty good, I didn't think it was a bad movie.
I haven't seen it.
Really?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. When you see it, it's not a bad movie at all. It's just that it's inclusive.
Yes.
You're gonna see some Asian faces, you're gonna see some black faces, and they don't like that. But they can take aliens though. Like if you're a fucking alien or you got a three eyes in the back of your head or some crazy looking shit like in the cantina, they can take that. But they can't take a black face.
And that to me, that I know I'm kind of digressing, but that's what's funny about white people to me, because you don't even reflect Earth. Like if an alien came to Earth and said, "Who's the dominant face on the planet? What's the most organic race on the planet?" They would not. It would not be white people. Like you're barely on this planet. This planet's trying to kill you, literally. You're barely on this planet, but somehow you are the race of other planets, and you're not even the race of this planet.
Exactly.
But somehow you Superman, you Luke Skywalker, every damn alien in space is a white male or a white female. That's what I find funny. And what's crazy is they always try to, how white, and we're talking about in real science. In real science, they try to find, what do they call it? They have a name for that perfect position for a planet to be by a sun. They have some sort of name for it. But that's what they look for when they try to see if there's life somewhere else. So if you're looking for the same conditions, then the same conditions are going to create the same type people, and they're not going to be white. But
Mm.
somehow they can be offended. You know what I'm saying? They could be offended by some other colored race that would really be what it's like outside of here. But yeah, man, That's crazy to me.
Yeah, man.
But let's get back to Captain Marvel right quick.
Hmm.
So, as we talked about, Marvel is kind of expanding their cosmic universe.
Hmm.
So, she would be, I guess, for lack of a better word, because I guess you would consider Thor. Is Thor cosmic? Would you consider him cosmic?
I would. I
Okay.
would.
Um,
Fundamentally, like when you talk about Asgard and all that other stuff, I would consider him a cosmic character.
See, I guess he could be either. Like, he's from another planet Earth type, you know what I mean? But yeah, I
Right.
guess it could go both ways. And the reason I'm saying that is because I would see more like Silver Surfer being cosmic,
Yeah, definitely.
that sort of thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, so what I'm saying is she's like gonna be the I was about to say the Thor of the cosmic, but I guess he would be considered cosmic too. But the Superman of space. Now, the only problem I have with the cosmic universe, which I hope doesn't happen, is whenever you're dealing with like Earth, you're dealing with more diverse characters, more diverse skill types.
Hmm.
But when you get into the cosmic, man, everybody becomes punch and laser hand fist type people.
Right.
And that can get kind of boring, man. I like the
Yeah.
diversity of people doing different things. You follow what I'm saying?
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, I don't.
Because one of the problems with that is when you make this is what my problem with the Thanos character in the comics that I really don't like Thanos as a character. Like they made him interesting in the first Infinity War, which was pretty good because that was my main thing. I'm like, how are they going to make this character interesting for me? But I don't like these OP characters.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause to me, it's like, all right, like take for instance, there's one thing they did.
Hey, you might want to tell them what OP means.
Oh, overpowered. One thing they did with Thanos in one book, he was fighting. They gave Thor, and I know you remember this. Thor had the Power Stone,
Mm-hmm.
so he's fighting Thanos with the Power Stone, and Thanos was still able to overcome Thor with the Power Stone. I'm like, that makes absolutely no fucking sense.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense because then you shit on the very thing that the whole Infinity Gauntlet is based on. It's like if you and I've seen it so many times. Like She-Hulk usually beats up on Titania on a regular basis. Titania got the Power Stone and beat the shit out of She-Hulk with the Power Stone. That's usually how it works.
Mm-hmm.
If you get the Power Stone, you become the most powerful. That's why they call it the Power Stone. So you're telling me that Thanos as a character is stronger than the Power Stone? It's just his skill set is just so off the charts that it just makes it not interesting. That's why I never liked Superman. Like Superman is one of those characters that if he's fighting somebody and let's say Superman never exhibited any power set before, they'll just give it to him in the fight. So if Superman was fighting Magneto, then they would give Superman the power of magnetism.
Mm-hmm.
They just assign powers to this dude. It's like a fucking character in a video game where you put it on invincible mode and then you just walk through the stages because nobody can kill you. Like that's
Yeah.
not interesting to me.
Yeah, DC basically has an issue with that. They have a lot of overpowered characters who are basically Greek gods, Roman god type characters. You want it, and that's what makes Marvel work at the movies. Besides them being able to develop characters, which DC hadn't been able to do thus far, they're starting to get better at it. But being vulnerable is one of the things that makes a character believable.
Right.
So what Marvel does is the character is who they are first as a citizen, and then the powers is sidebar. Whereas in DC, the powers come first, and then they're trying to pretend to be a human or pretend to be normal. You follow what I'm saying? And I
Right.
think when people watch Marvel, it makes more sense to them because that's more believable to you. And then you could see somebody get hurt. When you watch the DC movies, with the when Snyder was directing, it was just a bunch of people getting thrown through walls, punching people into the sky. No
Right.
one seemed to get hurt. It's like, what's the end game if they if no one can get hurt? It's like watching a Japanime, you know.
Right.
Why should I be invested in this if no one can actually get hurt? So yeah, I like more grounded. And I get you. And that was one of the things I was saying about Captain Marvel when I said, hey, my cheat sheet is that, you know, like when you watch Infinity War, they started the movie off with Thor being chained up, right? They showed him as being vulnerable. He couldn't win at that moment. And they have to be creative with overpowered characters because the movie would be over immediately. If you saw what Thor did at the end of the movie, if he did that in the beginning of the movie, what would be the point of having the movie?
Exactly.
So that's what they had to do for Captain Marvel. They had to flesh her out and bring her down before they can build her up. And that, to me, that was one of the issues that I had with just one of the issues I had with Storm. Like Storm is one of the most powerful mutants on the planet in the comics, and they always reduce her way too low to make her fit in that world. You follow what I'm saying? Because I mean, she could just send like 12 hurricanes and 50 tornadoes at you, man. What are you gonna do with that? You know what I'm saying? She don't have to even be there, fam. It's a wrap for you. And really, speaking of Storm, like if Marvel is smart, Marvel Studios, if they don't make her solo movie, they are crazy. And I know they want this. They want more female led characters. Like after what they saw with Black Panther, they would be fools not to give Storm a solo movie because she hadn't been done right yet. And imagine if someone, I know they wouldn't use Coogler, but maybe he could oversee it. Imagine someone tying her powers into voodoo and this sort of thing. Like it could be a very interesting story, man. I think it would do $1 billion.
What do you think? I do too. Because that's a definitely, like, it's one of those characters to me that's like Black Panther, where people are going to be surprised at how well it does if they actually were to do that.
Yes,
it's going to shock them.
Outside of Wonder Woman, she's the most popular female character. Name a character more popular than Storm. Female.
I can't.
And I would argue that people like Storm more than they like Wonder Woman. I would argue that.
Yep, that's true.
So you would be a fool to reduce her and not take advantage of having that character right now. And I know if people read my status, I had my game plan. If I was running Marvel Studios, I would start off with a Wolverine movie, Wolverine Hulk movie, because that was his origin. His first appearance was in Hulk, and I would have them cross paths in a movie. He would not be an X-Men. The same with Storm. Give her a solo movie. Do not have her as an X-Men. Tie her into Black Panther before you tie her into X-Men.
Right.
And then I would take Professor X and I would redo his origin, and I would show why he felt like he needed to bring the X-Men together. Like, because that's the question. Like, people would say, well, why did he want to make the X-Men? I know he wanted to help mutants, but there would be a reason to create a team. You would need a reason. You know what I'm saying? So I would create a movie to show and do the original characters. Beast, Iceman,
Angel.
And you know what's crazy? You know what Jean Grey's name was?
Well, her original name?
Her original name when she was first with that, Miss Marvel.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't remember that.
Yeah. Now you're making me doubt myself. Yeah, I believe her name was Miss Marvel. But yeah, use those original characters, rebuild the X-Men brand, and actually, I would treat the X-Men brand like they treat the Avengers. I would make a moment for them to create an X-Men movie. You follow what I'm saying? Definitely. I wouldn't just make X-Men movies. I would make it when they have to come together. Then it's the X-Men movie.
Oh, people in the chat room are saying her name was Marvel Girl.
Marvel Girl, yes. I was close.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
Marvel
right.
Girl.
You're right. You're 100% on that. I totally forgot that.
So I'm like, man, you don't want to. You know how bad you would confuse the layman. You have Captain Marvel. You have Black Captain Marvel, the white one in the movie. You have the Middle Eastern Miss Marvel,
Right.
and then you have Marvel Girl.
That's too much. Too much.
Yeah, yeah. So you want to confuse them, put all those characters out. But another rumor that I heard was, and you know they're doing a lot of rumoring right now,
Yeah.
is that um, that Marvel wants to do a Young Avengers movie, which I think they should, because they really don't have any young characters.
Hmm.
You know, everybody is, you know, 30s and 40s. It's like,
Right.
yo, you need some, besides Spider-Man, they don't have any youth movement. Um, and if anybody, if you read Young Avengers, it's pretty solid, man. For those who don't know, the brother, I cannot think of his, Kyle Baker. I can't remember the writer though, and he's a black artist.
Hmm.
Um, he wrote the Black Captain Marvel, Captain America comic. My bad. He drew it and co-created it. And so what happened was they went to Marvel and they said, you know, hey, we have this interesting take on uh, the Captain America story. And so Marvel was going to just allow them to do a trade that really don't connect with the Marvel universe, just some, fun stuff on the side.
Hmm.
But once Marvel saw what they were doing, they were like, yo, this is too good because it makes sense. So we're going to actually tie this into our actual universe. And so what the story was that there is no way, and black folks understand this, there is no way that they would have created the super soldier serum and tested it on white people first. There's no way, especially back then. You get what I'm saying? So the story is a Tuskegee experiment type story
Hmm.
where they were trying to find a super soldier serum, trying to create one, and the black soldiers that they tested it on first. And so the first Captain America black dude was named was Isaiah Bradley.
Right.
And so it goes through that story. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because, spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure y'all ain't going to read Young Avengers, but the leader of the Young Avengers is a character named Patriot, and he's a young teenage Captain America. He's black. And so when they first did the story, he was masked up all the way. You couldn't see none of his face. And
Right.
then it was like Miles. He kind of unmasked, and you saw a black dude like, what the hell? And so what it was is his grandfather is Isaiah Bradley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how they tie in. He got it. It's like that Hulk thing where he had to get a transfusion,
Right.
and that's how he got his abilities from his grandfather. So if Marvel is really thinking about doing that, that's a great thing because then they can introduce the Isaiah Bradley story to the world.
Right.
So just
That
want to
would be
throw
a
that
good.
out there.
Yeah, that would be a cool way to bring in another Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
Because they had an article saying that the next Captain America might be black, and everybody's automatically assuming that it's Sam, Falcon. And I'm like,
Right.
whoa, wait a minute now. It could be that Young Avengers. It could be the Patriot. That would
Right.
be a smart way to go with it.
Oh, and just
Because
to let people know,
go ahead, you go.
March 20th is when Marvel gets like when the deal is finally finalized and complete, and they have their characters. So that's going to happen on March 20th.
Yeah, and I know they're like salivating right now, man.
Oh yeah.
They might have too much on their plate, man. What you think?
Hmm. No, I don't. Well, they're going to have a lot of characters at their disposal, but I don't think that they're going to overdo it, just based on their history and how Kevin Feige is. He tends to really have a thought out plan. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just throwing out characters miscellaneously. Because I really feel like everybody wants, they're wondering about Wolverine, but I don't think that's something that they're going to tackle immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Just like with the Fantastic Four, I don't think that they're going to tackle that immediately. But they're going to find a way to bring them into the universe in a proper way.
Telling you, man. Black Panther 2.
Yeah, who's going to be like? Did they say who's going to be the antagonist in it?
They had, man. I don't even think they wrote the movie yet. Like, I think they're still in development stage.
Oh, okay.
Because Coogler wanted a little time off. Because
Right.
I think he's under pressure now. Like Coogler, Okay, so I'm not a jump on the Coogler bandwagon. I'm the one who hashtag in Coogler I trust. I
Right.
love all his movies.
Exactly.
But here's the thing about Coogler. He's been free up to this point, meaning he never had any pressure
Hmm.
or expectations on making movies until now. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah. When you come out with $1 billion franchise, then that's pressure.
Yes. So I think Coogler wants to make sure he gets his mind right and make the type of movie that black people deserve. Because I think he's really thinking about us, you
Yeah.
know, and if everybody else watched, that's cool too. But I think he doesn't want to disappoint us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I
So
don't, and I have complete faith in him. I
definitely,
really do. I have faith in
definitely.
him.
But if
But
I was Marvel, my fault, go ahead.
what do you think about um Neymar?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I would put him in Black Panther.
Yeah.
Um, I would make him the antagonist. Um, and I also would introduce Reed Richards. I think that the thing about Black Panther is that they can't Wakanda us to death.
Right. Right.
It'll get played out real quick.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like they can't go around saying Wakanda forever. They
Right.
can't. So they need to open up Black Panther to other kinds of adventures or whatever. And Namor, the thing about Namor, for people who don't know, Namor is he's an anti-hero. He's not good or bad. He
Right.
basically about his people. He's Killmonger on steroids, basically. You know, he don't like humans, even though he's half human. Um, Aquaman was a ripoff of Namor. Namor came out first back in the day,
Right.
and DC. I don't know if they were called DC back then, but they took the idea and made Aquaman out of it. But Namor is more gangster. So I think Coogler would do a great job. Coogler wanted what's the dude's name? What the dude with the lion
Craven?
Craven. He wanted Craven. He actually wanted Craven for the first part of Black Panther.
Oh, really?
Yes, he did. But Sony wanted to do a Craven solo movie.
Hmm.
And a lot of the things that Sony was trying to do, they had to back off. Marvel told them no, because we might want to use these characters. So please don't ruin them. Basically, is what they were saying. Just chill out for a minute. You know what I mean? Because if you look at it, and I've been screaming this forever. If you read comics, they had a story called the Dark Avengers, and it was so dope because the Dark Avengers were, man, I'm losing my train of thought, man.
I remember the Dark Avengers.
Norman Osborn. He
Yeah.
was that suit you saw with that flag on it on the Iron Man suit.
Hmm.
It's called the Patriot
Right.
suit.
The Iron
That was
Patriot.
Norman. Yeah, exactly. Iron Patriot. That was Norman Osborn's suit in the comics. And so what he did was he created his own Avengers team, but they were corrupt. You know what I'm saying? And so
Hmm.
he took these characters who were similar, these people who were similar to the skill types of the actual Avengers, and made his own team. So he had like a Hawkeye. He had Bullseye put on a Hawkeye costume.
Mm.
You know, very similar, you know, skill type. So he had all these different things. I think Marvel need to make that part three of a Spider-Man movie. I think that would be dope to build up into a Dark Avengers because they couldn't do it before because they didn't have the rights to the characters that it would take to make it, but now they do.
Oh,
So
just excuse me for a second. We got 9 dislikes, so the trolls are out, y'all. So hit the like button. We got
is
eight
it?
likes and 9 dislikes. So the trolls are panties. Their panties are twisted up in a bunch. They crying. So good. Keep up the good work, Thuro.
Hey, what up, y'all? I like. Hey, what up, y'all? I'm glad y'all listening, man. I'm glad you listened to a black man's opinion on comics. I know that hurts your damn feelings, man. I know it hurts. And you know, it like, yeah, man. I just find that interesting, man. That the people who if you talk to them, they would play the victim in life, the nerds.
Hmm.
But somehow they could find a way to still be like the people they say is quote unquote bullying them when it comes to black people.
Hmm.
We're not allowed to have, to share in comic books and these sort of things. And so yeah, I find it interesting that they probably just, how do you think they found that?
Oh,
Do you think they saw like the little SJW or whatever you put on there, or
probably.
did they just Captain Marvel? Was that enough to bring them?
Yeah, either the Captain Marvel or the Anti-SJW probably brought him out. And plus, I keep trolls anyway.
Mm,
I always have trolls following me. I call them Holip's bitches.
okay. So
I'm
what
like
up, Hollis
Charlie.
bitches?
I'm like Charlie.
Word up. But yeah, man. Yeah. So so Marvel, yeah, Marvel's gonna hurt their feelings, man. Because they're gonna do that Shang-Chi movie,
Oh
which is an
yeah, that's right.
Asian character.
A lot of people don't know about that character.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big Shang-Chi fan back in the days.
And they got their director and everything, so it's moving forward. It's
Hmm.
gonna be a majority Asian cast, and black folks love karate flicks, so
Exactly.
it's gonna be big amongst black folks. We love that kind of stuff, and so man, I hope they make it like a karate flick, man. Like go there with it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I think that would be great.
Yeah, they're
So,
gonna have, man. They have a lot of IP, man. God damn, they
mhm.
don't have to worry about nothing. The only thing that will screw them up is if they just creatively don't do what they're supposed to do. But Feige, like I said, I trust in Kugler. I trust in Feige too, man.
No,
Feige seems
definitely,
to know what he's doing.
definitely. And the thing about it though
Oh
is,
man, wait, I gotta speak on this.
okay,
The beginning opening of Marvel, the Stan Lee tribute,
yeah, that was dope.
that was dope. That was really dope. I like how they did that, and I also like the cameo that they created where they incorporated like when he was on that train, he was actually playing Stan Lee,
Yeah, yeah.
which
Hmm.
I thought was kind of cool. Like they put Kevin Smith in there, so that was kind of nice the way they
Yes.
did that.
Yes. That was a dope. They need to keep that for the rest of the movies this year. I'm pretty sure they will.
Yeah,
The intro.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was that was
I'm
dope.
pretty sure they're probably going to keep that for the definitely the end game.
Oh yeah. And probably Spider-Man too. Definitely because I think Spider-Man is more associated with Stan Lee than any of the other characters.
Hmm.
And I don't even think he created Spider. Did he create Spider-Man?
Who, Stan Lee?
Yeah.
Co-created.
Yeah, so but that character is more like, because growing up, we heard him narrating uh Spider-Man is Amazing Friends. Like that's the
Hmm.
association people have with Stanley. Spider-Man. So
Right.
yeah, definitely have it on that. Definitely have it on that. But yeah, man, so what do you think as far as in-game goes?
Hmm.
Do you think they're actually gonna off characters? Or you think
Um,
they're gonna retire them?
I think they're going to retire them because I think that they ultimately want the option of bringing these guys back for like sort of like what they did with Iron Man in their first Spider-Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
Just utilizing them in that capacity, not where they're the main person, but they're more like they're in an advisory capacity or for a special guest star appearance or something like that. I don't think they want to just off their major characters. I would
Yeah,
be
cause
surprised if they did that.
me too. Because I think maybe some of the actors were getting a little, burnout, but I think now with the merger, I bet they're like, yo, at least, it's sort of like how Robert Downey Jr. is. Like
Hmm.
I don't, they're not making any more Iron Man movies, but he's in movies.
Right.
So I think some of the characters will pop up in other franchises.
Hmm.
Because, like I said, the Hulk and Wolverine in the movie, but we got to remember Cap and Wolverine have history together.
Right. Exactly.
So they may want to go that route with it.
Hmm.
and I'm pretty sure Chris Evans would love to be in a movie with the new Wolverine.
Right.
So yeah, man, it's a lot of. We talked about it last time, man. With the success of Black Panther, the success that they're having right now with Captain Marvel, I think they're more confident that they can get rid of characters now, and they still have a strong base, to build upon.
Yeah.
So, and that's in like really like, let's see, Doctor Strange would be part of the new Avengers. We consider a new Avenger. Is that it? It's just Strange, Panther, Captain Marvel, and maybe Ant-Man, right?
Ant-Man. Yeah, Ant-Man. Who else?
That might be it.
Yeah, I think so.
So, and they said, and I don't know if it's true, but the one dude was saying that they're not doing phases anymore.
Oh, okay.
That it's just movies now. It's not. They're being more liquid with it.
Okay. So they not in other words, well, I can't even see them not. I guess they've established their template in terms of just incorporating their characters into other movies and stuff, because that's Marvel Comics. They've always done that.
Yeah.
That's just their template. Like you'll see other characters and other IPs all the time. So there's always going to be a crossover at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But what I heard, which I'm really excited about, is they want to do a Doctor Doom movie.
See, I thought that was what Fox wanted to do.
Well, Fox pretty much fucked it up. Because remember, they had the first Fantastic Four movie where that Doctor Strange, they turned into a jealous lover. This Doctor Strange was just
Doctor
like,
Doom.
I'm sorry, Doctor Doom, which they turned into a jealous lover in the first one, and then with this Fantastic Four with Michael B. Jordan, this Doctor Doom was, I don't know what the fuck they was thinking about. I don't even count that.
No, you remember I said in my status that I don't think as bad as that movie as most people do.
Really?
I really don't, man. Like I don't think it was as bad as people make it out to be.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. I wasn't feeling it. It was just
I hear you.
I don't know.
I wouldn't argue with people that it like when they say I don't like it because I know it fell apart after the second act. But if you judge it from the first and second act, you can kind of see where it was going, and I think it was a dope take on, how it really would be if you came back with some new. The government would be on you. You wouldn't be out there being no superhero at first. They want to know if you're contagious, all this sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was a excellent, new take. But like I said, I get it. I get it why people don't like it.
I know this that Feige knows that I would probably say that Doom is the number one villain in Marvel. Would I be fair in saying that?
He's one of them. Definitely. Top 3.
Yeah.
Top 3 for sure.
They got to do him right. They got to do him right. And his origin story and just the whole thing, if handled with a competent person, they can do him right.
Definitely. You treat him the same way you treated Thanos. Give him the same treatment. Spread him out throughout movies. Spread him out throughout different franchises. And then have him be the villain for an Avengers movie.
Yeah, because in a way, he's sort of like what's the DC equivalent of Doctor Doom? Because Doctor Doom has been crossed with so much IP in Marvel, like he's basically went at everybody. Yeah. Doctor Doom has had storylines with every single fucking major hero.
He want all the smoke,
right?
You know what I'm saying? He want all the smoke.
He's even had a storyline with Thanos, right?
I'm sure. He's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
He's everywhere. But you have to build towards him. You don't want to jump in the water too quick.
Right.
Like you want to build him up and make him the ultimate threat to them. Because I know most people are thinking, well, they'll probably go the Galactus route. Now that they have that character back.
Mm-hmm.
which they could, but if I were them, I would be more grounded with Doom first.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Because I've been
Yeah,
feeling the same way. It's like, sometimes it's not always best to go big. Just bring it down,
yeah,
bring it down to Earth, and let's deal with an earthbound threat.
yeah.
Galactus, it's like, all right, well, we got Thanos. What can we do bigger than him? It's like, I think that's the wrong attitude.
Yes, because everybody can't be coming from space. It's like
Right.
every threat is like some space dude with a bunch of aliens with him.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I would, the way I would deal with Galactus is through a Silver Surfer movie, and then
Right.
I would have him meet up with the rest of the characters later as a threat. But at first, I would go to the Silver Surfer route with him.
Right.
But when it comes to the Earth, I would do Doctor Doom for sure.
And
Doctor,
if you thought making Thanos was a challenge, try making Galactus relatable.
yeah, that's gonna be hard, man.
Like I know the fanboys really want to see it, but I'm really, I haven't been one of the ones pushing that. I'm more with you on in the sense that they need to make it more earthbound. Like I think Doctor Doom is perfect. If they're gonna make a big bad or invest time, that's the character you should invest that in.
Hmm. Yeah, man. I still don't, because I'm an artist, so I always try to. My mind always tries to make something more believable.
Hmm.
So it's like, how would you deal with a dude that's like skyscraper, taller than a skyscraper, with a purple suit and wants to eat a planet? It's like, how do I mean, think about it, man. We talked about it last time. One of the biggest obstacles for Marvel with Captain America was his uniform. Like,
Right.
it did not translate until um, Hickman, I believe, yeah, Brian Hickman, when he did the Ultimates, he created the military-looking suit with the chin strap. And
Right.
of course, he took the underwear out and had them military pants, and it made it more, they could translate it, with a movie. When it comes to Galactus, man, that's a hard um, thing to translate, and because people made fun of that Fantastic Four Galactus with the smoke cloud or
Oh,
whatever.
don't get me started on that.
But what they don't recognize is if you go Google it, they had like the computer generated Galactus done. It's one of them things where like when people complained about what's his name, the the Green Goblin in Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man.
Hmm.
And it was like, man, he looked like a Power Ranger with that helmet on or whatever. But they tried to do a literal goblin face. Like you can go on YouTube and look at it. He had that same comic book face mask. He had that on. They tried it and it didn't work for the movies. It looked too silly. And that's why they went with the helmet. So a lot of times they do things based off or they do the trial and error and it don't translate. Some things can't translate. So it's going to be interesting to see how they try to translate Galactus. What now? Like I said, going back to being an artist, how I would do it is that I probably wouldn't make that thing be Galactus. So that being we see as Galactus,
Hmm.
I would have like something that crashes on a planet. It either projects that out or something that's built that he has to take stuff. Like it would be either a
Like
hologram or something mechanical or something.
you mean make him like an avatar for the real Galactus?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's the way to put it. Because it's something that, hey, we got to give the humans something that they can relate to, a human face. So that's where
Hmm.
you get the whole arms and legs and all this. I would do something like that. Um, it's gonna be hard to just have some 50-foot dude standing on a planet. Like,
Right.
I mean, I guess they could and it work. I don't know. You think they could do that?
They could try, but like you said, it's about believability. Like what is going to translate. And I think what you're saying, like have him, if he's that powerful, then it's kind of hard to contain that into a being. So if you were to use him as like whatever that representation as an avatar for what he is, I think that makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
People can relate to that because it makes sense. Like if you got somebody that's like every time you've seen God or some depiction of God in a movie, God had to present himself in a body that people can relate to.
Yes. You don't want to
So
freak them out.
exactly. So that makes sense to do it that way.
Yes. And how you can better tell the story if you show him on other planets doing that before he destroyed them and have him looking like them
Hmm.
when when he's about to take it. So
Right.
do the same thing with Earth. Like, to me, that's the only thing that I think could, but who knows? Marvel might just go straight comic book with it and have some big tall dude. I don't know how he's gonna get the resource. I guess something come out his hands, like, I don't know, goes to the earth and starts sucking them. I don't know.
Yeah, it's I I haven't been pushing it. Like if they want to come out with Galactus in the movie, I wouldn't be, I wouldn't not go see it, of course. I see the movie, but I'm not pushing it. Like there's other characters and other things that I think they really need to get into. Like definitely they have to redeem the Fantastic Four and incorporate, because the Fantastic Four is such an integral part of all of these storylines. It's kind of hard seeing these movies without them in it.
Mm-hmm.
So they got to get them straight, and they got to get the Doom character straight, because like you said, he's definitely, if not the top villain, he's in the top 3
Mm-hmm.
of villains within Marvel.
Yep.
So those are the ones that I definitely want to see them handle, and I'm pushing for Namor in this next Black Panther.
And they need to get X-Men right. Like, people haven't really seen the X-Men in the way that they're supposed to be.
Right.
I was talking to somebody the other day. I mean, you look at a character like Cyclops.
Hmm.
He hasn't been done right yet, man. He's a joke in those Fox films.
Right.
So if you look at we all besides Mello enjoyed Winter Soldier. Scott
Right.
Summers is supposed to be whooping ass like how Captain America was in that movie.
Right.
With eye beams though. He's
Hmm.
supposed to be a G, fam, a leader. They have
Right.
yet to make him correct. We haven't seen Wolverine masked up yet. They haven't done. He's wife beater in Fox because Bryan Singer thought costumes were a joke. He said that wasn't reality.
Right.
So really, Marvel has an opportunity. They ought to be happy that they screwed up on a lot of those movies.
Yeah.
Because now they have room to do the right thing with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's great that they didn't put Wolverine in a mask. That's a selling point now. Like, that would be my teaser poster. A Wolverine mask on the ground or something. Because we never
Exactly.
seen him put it on.
Exactly. And did you see the concept? Like, because they did have some I think it was like I don't know whether it was a scene, but they definitely had his suit.
Oh, they took that out. Yeah.
That was a scene?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was going to be in the
Okay.
movie, and they deleted it.
Yeah, the suit looked hot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, that would have been cool had they did that.
Yeah,
But
I'm glad. I'm glad they didn't.
yeah.
Now Marvel gets an opportunity to do them right. So, and you know who, man, imagine how many people are going to be begging for that role, man.
Oh yeah.
Because that will make your career if you get that Wolverine role.
Mm-hmm.
That you the man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like one of the biggest roles you can get in Hollywood. So I can't wait. That's the things I'm excited about, because we already know that Feige and his crew, they already reached out to the people. They already
Mm-hmm.
know who they want. They were just
Right.
waiting for the okay. You can go after them now. They know when it comes to Professor X, Storm, Wolverine, Reed Richards, Sue Storm. They know who they want, and they already talked to the agents, but probably even before the merger got complete.
I'm gonna make a prediction.
Okay.
Since everything is gonna be finalized March 20th, and since the movie is coming out, I believe the 26th. Endgame is coming out in
Yeah,
April.
26. Yeah,
I have a feeling we're gonna see a really incredible post-credit scene.
definitely. Oh yeah,
I
that's
have a
gonna happen.
feeling because
That's
they
gonna
got a
happen.
month. They got a month before like after they finalize everything and they actually have legal, possession
Yeah.
over their IP, you're going to
Yes.
see some really crazy post-credit scene, man. I
See,
just predict
everybody's expecting like maybe a Wolverine type hint,
that.
but I,
I'm thinking more Fantastic Four.
me too. I'm thinking Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Um, if not that, so they might try to like go do something that we not expecting from one of these characters that we don't even know they're gonna do. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting, man. Like I can't wait to see how they're gonna do it because with the internals, like I never read any of that, so that's brand new to me.
Me too. I mean,
The
I'm familiar with. I'm not really into the Eternals. I was never into that comic, so I can't really say that I really know it. I know of them, but I
Yeah,
don't
I don't
really
know
know
him.
the comic.
Yeah, that's how I am. I know of them. I don't know anything about the characters. So what they're explaining it as is to me is interesting because basically it's like the new gods, like you said, the OP characters.
Hmm.
And so Thanos is a god character. He's a new god character. When Kirby went to DC and created Apocalypse, not Apocalypse,
Darkseid.
Dark Dark Side, and those type of characters. And then he came to Marvel and created Thanos and these other new god type characters.
Hmm.
So the Eternals are supposed to be like some godlike characters who were here in what we call prehistoric times, before humans,
Hmm.
and they pretty much, or maybe it was when humans just got to the planet or something. But they pretty much, yeah, I think humans were here, and they wanted to get involved, and so but they couldn't get directly involved, so they started pushing their agenda on humans, meaning trying to help us out with powers, being able to be stronger, to be smarter, these sort of things.
Hmm.
So they're trying to make them, because the question is going to be, well, why? How are we now just hearing about mutants? And so what they're going to try to show you is mutants. The mutant gene was always there, and these eternal people put it out there, and it just needed to be activated later. It
Hmm.
was something that was always there. So that's why they want to push this movie, is because it's going to give them the bridge to the mutant universe, into the
Right.
X-Men. So that's what they're trying to do. From what I heard, that's what the rumor is. So
Speaking of mid credits, I really thought that mid credit scene was very strong in Captain Marvel. I like it,
yes, yeah,
and
that
I
was dope.
also heard that the Russo shot it.
That was dope.
Yeah, the Russo shot that scene. So that
Hmm.
probably is going. I don't know. It might be an Avengers Endgame.
It
Not
should be.
sure. Yeah.
It should be. I would think it would be, because the other, what was the other one? They had an Infinity War credit in one of those movies, and I think it was in the movie. I can't remember which one it was now.
What was
Was
it?
it?
Talking about a mid credit scene?
Yeah, it was one that they tied into the Avengers. But yeah, I think they will. I think it should be in there. But yeah, that's going to be interesting, man, because I just want to see how her, and see that's the thing about how Marvel is, man. We think we know what that movie's going to be about, and we don't know.
Not at all. And I'm glad that I don't know.
Yeah. And what they
I re-
say, they're not going to show anything in their trailer that's outside the first 20 minutes of the movie.
right.
So you're not going to see anything beyond like 20 minutes. They're not spoiling nothing. They don't
Exactly.
want you getting any clues on what's about to go on.
Hmm.
So yeah, man, we think we're going to see Captain Marvel come in there and bang with Thanos. We don't know that.
Right.
We really don't know, man.
We don't know
And
what's gonna happen, and I'm kind of glad because I don't want to know. I want to be surprised when I in the theater and just see things as it is.
yeah, I think it's gonna be dope going there blind. Because my mind, man. When I see those trailers, I'm looking for that stuff in the movies, and I hate that
Yeah.
because my brain starts filling in the blanks, and I can pretty
Exactly.
much kind of tell what the movie's how it's going. So That's why I try to avoid a lot of trailers. But yeah, man, I'm excited about Endgame. And so okay, before I know we probably gonna wrap it up, but what do you think about? Because I know your brother Dawud was laughing at the Shazam trailer, saying that it looked trash. What do you think about DC and what they're doing, man?
It's a comedy.
Yeah.
It's a full-blown comedy. That's why I'm not really taking it seriously, and I think that that's what DC's approach is with it. It's like they're not taking it as a serious movie. It's a lighthearted comedy type movie. So within that context, it might actually be good. I'm not big on the Shazam character. I think like it's more of a cartoon than a comic book character.
I'm actually a fan of Shazam. For those who don't know, Captain Marvel. Yeah. Oh, definitely, man. He was one of my favorite characters as a kid.
Okay.
Like when I was, because you had like a little dude who turned into an adult. And for those who don't know, he used to rival Superman. Like he was more popular than Superman back in the day. I guess that would be the golden age of comics. He was bigger than Superman, and DC didn't like that, and they sued him because they said that they copied their character or whatever, and they shelved him. They actually bought his rights and shelved them, put them on a shelf because they didn't want any competition. And then later they started using them. So, but yeah, man, I like the character, man. Like I said, I think DC understands they failed with the Snyder universe trying to be dark. And so now they're trying to make their Marvel movies. They're trying to make them as close as to Marvel as they can get.
Right.
We'll see, man. You gonna check it out first week, or how you gonna do that?
I might do that. I mean, I wasn't really like big on seeing it, but I might just see it on GP that first weekend.
Yeah, because I see a lot of people who not really big in the comics. They're like, I don't know about that, man.
Oh, before we go, I wanted to ask you about Aquaman.
Yeah, I hated it, man.
Yeah.
I
saw it. I didn't dislike it, but I'm sort of like agnostic to Aquaman.
Yeah.
I'm not really.
You apathetic.
Yeah, I've never been a big Aquaman fan. I've definitely been more of a Submariner.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love Mariner way more. Man, when it comes to that movie, man, it's like I said, man, they tried their best to do a Marvel type movie with over the top, jokes that failed. They were corny. The forced love scenes were corny. He came across as a pirate more than Aquaman. Like it was like Pirates of the Caribbean when I looked at him. He doesn't. I wasn't feeling it. And then like the forced hate relationship between him and Black Manta. It's like it was so forced and stupid. It's like that, and then they shoehorned him into the movie. He really didn't need to be in there. To me, on all fronts, they messed that movie up, man. But it was successful financially, so they're good with it. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, it just seemed like just a CGI fest to me.
Yeah,
that's what I was getting. Like if I didn't think it was a bad movie, but it wasn't anything that I particularly was interested in. Yeah, that's why I didn't see it in the movies. I actually saw it on the FireCube.
Oh, word. Okay, so you really wasn't messing with it like that.
I wasn't messing with it at all. I had no desire to see Aquaman, but I'm glad for Jason.
I mean, whatever.
You know.
I mean, like I come to be entertained, man. I was disappointed. You know what I'm saying? So I just didn't enjoy it. Like it was just whack. And then like dude got arrested in the end of the movie. Like your villain got handcuffed at the end of the movie. It's like, come on, y'all. Come on. That's how you gonna end this? Dude went to jail, dog.
Yeah. They did the Thanos to him.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they did to him. It's like, come on, dog. After all, and then the thing about it, though, I didn't even hate or like that quote unquote villain. because they didn't develop the character for me to have any opinion about him. He
Right.
just popped up like everybody else in the movie. Everybody just popped up. Was no character development anywhere in that movie, man. The dopest thing about that movie was the beginning when his mom Dukes was swinging the thing in defense
Oh
in the
yeah.
house.
In the fight, yeah.
Yeah, that was the best part of the movie, man. To me,
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good choreographed scene.
yeah. But it didn't remind you of Black Panther though.
What, that scene?
Yes,
How?
that's how the sisters was fighting in Black Panther.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's what it. I mean, that especially that casino scene.
Hmm.
It kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, you're right. Definitely. Now that I think of it.
Hmm.
But it was like I said, I'm agnostic to it. It was like if you see it, good. If you don't, whatever. It's not really. It's basically a standalone movie. It
Hmm.
doesn't seem like it's going to be a part of any bigger storyline to me. And maybe I don't even know. Did DC decide that they're just not going to go with the integrated universe? They're just going to do it one movie at a time.
That's what they said, man. But I don't know if they truly got a plan. That's what
Yeah.
they're saying now. They matter of fact, they released a slate of movies that DC is about to do.
Hmm.
And let me see if I can pull that up right quick. I wasn't impressed, dog. I was like, dude, Marvel got back Fox, man. Y'all need to be stepping your game up, DC.
Yeah, I don't know. Shazam, how that's going to play into anything? I don't know. Is this going to be a standalone? I'm not sure. It doesn't
That's
seem
how they
like
were saying.
anybody's. It doesn't seem like anybody's manning the ship over at DC.
No. And then um well they were saying that Superman's gonna make a appearance in Shazam.
Yeah, I heard. But who's going to be Superman?
Exactly.
That's the thing. Are we going to
Who
have a
who
new
is
Superman?
Batman? Who's Batman?
Exactly. Exactly. Because I
That's
don't know if Henry Cavill is going to be Superman. I mean, have they made a decision that he's not going to be Superman
we
anymore?
don't know. That's the whole thing. It's still up in the
Uh,
air. He's moving on doing other stuff. Like we don't know.
mm,
So they say Shazam and then Joker comes out in October.
hmm.
That's with Joaquin Phoenix. And then
And
you
since it's
got
Joaquin Phoenix, like, do we know whether this might be a one-off for him?
oh, definitely. With him, you're not going to tie him down to no damn
Exactly.
franchise.
So what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. Wonder Woman 1984 comes out June the 5th of next year.
Oh, okay.
The Batman comes out in 2021, dog.
Jesus Christ, man.
Exactly. So you have Wonder Woman coming out in 2020, and then the next movie is Batman that comes out in 2021
Wow.
in June. Now they
Somebody
might
in the
feel. Go ahead.
somebody in the chat room asked, "Did you like Captain Marvel better than Wonder Woman?"
Man, that's a good question.
That's
Um, I
a
like
tough one.
yeah, I like aspects of both of the movies. I know people who didn't like Wonder Woman. I liked it.
Me too.
Um, especially when compared to I made a status one time, and I said that Marvel's bar is so high that making a good movie ain't good enough no more. They have to make great movies now.
Exactly.
And DC bar is so low, a good movie becomes great to people
Exactly.
because the bar is so low. So when it came to Wonder Woman, after you see all these failures, you like, damn, about time y'all made a good movie. And then we kind of overrate it because we comparing it to other, flops.
Hmm.
So man, okay, if you put a gun to my head, I'm gonna lean towards Wonder Woman if you put a gun to my head.
I would say so. I would say as a film, on a pure filmmaking level, I would put Wonder Woman above it.
Yeah,
I would. Now,
yeah.
if you say which one I enjoyed more, Captain Marvel.
Okay, yeah. Now let me throw my disclaimer in.
Hmm.
I liked Wonder Woman, like you said. I like elements of it. I like how it was filmed.
Hmm.
But I believe Captain Marvel had a better ending,
Hmm.
had better, what's the word?
Let me just say this: if people thought that Captain Marvel was slow, there was times in Wonder Woman where I was like, okay,
Yeah,
it didn't.
yeah,
Pacing was pretty
yeah,
off. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I agree. There's parts in Captain Marvel where it was like, oh, okay, I like how you flipped that. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't get a lot of that. You know what? I take that back, man. Um, I might go Captain Marvel, and only because, like, even when it was the scrolls,
Hmm.
we thought they were going to be the villains, and I
Right.
like how they flipped that. You get what I'm
Yep.
saying? Um, yeah, that's a hard one, man. That might be a tie, man. But like I said, if we base it on the ending, then give me Captain Marvel. I'm more excited about what she's about to do than what Wonder Woman is about to do.
Right.
With that ending, you like, oh my God. Because like I said, man, they have to hold her back because if she was in there just wrecking shop, it's like, what's the point, man?
Hmm.
We got to see what she do next month. That's the whole point of the Captain Marvel movie, to set you up for what she's about to do in Endgame. That's a good
Yeah.
question, man. They got me on that one, man. I have to think
Yeah.
about that one.
Yeah.
I,
And the one thing that might give Captain Marvel the edge is that Wonder Woman's ending was so whack. Like
it
that
was
whole
horrible, man.
yeah, that whole end scene with her fighting the dude.
Dude, that's every DC movie, man.
Yeah,
That's the end of Suicide Squad. That's the end of Batman versus Superman, Wonder Woman. It's the same overpowered fighting at the end of these movies.
mm,
They need to figure out how to create more diverse villains.
right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that's a good question, man. I would love to hear people debate that actually. Which one was better?
Yep.
Now, something tells me Wonder Woman would win that. Overall consensus. What you think?
I think it would, but strictly like I said, from a filmmaking perspective, just like how it was shot, the cinematography, all of that, if you combine it just in terms of how it is artistically as a film, I think it's a better film. But in terms
Hmm.
of a more entertaining movie, I would pick Captain Marvel.
See, I can roll with that, man. I
Yeah.
can roll with that. I don't think nothing about Wonder Woman shocked me watching the movie. There
Right.
was nothing that made me say, "Oh man, I didn't see that coming."
Right.
There's really not anything about it that did that. Whereas at least Captain Marvel tried to trick you a few times. Like even the subtle stuff, man. When like what's the dude's name? Colton, is that his name?
Colson.
Colson, yeah, Colson. When we thought Colson was riding with Samuel, that was
Right.
a dope part, man.
Right. Yeah, it was
And
a lot of stuff in there that I really liked.
I just hate that they didn't do more of that, man. I know they had to condense all that into one movie, so they had to move on from the whole, espionage of how they can flip things on you. These scrolls. Like I would have loved a whole movie of that, man. Like
Right.
just the who is who. Like that, you could do a whole 2 hour movie on scrolls
Yep.
because you don't know who they are. So yeah, that was dope, man. And that doesn't mean, because what people got to recognize is that just because they're cool with the scrolls, you got to remember that's nearly 30 years ago.
Exactly. And that's just those scrolls.
Exactly.
So, that's what Kevin Feige said. He's like, just because the scrolls were good in this movie doesn't mean that that's going to be their role in future movies.
Hmm.
You know,
So that means secret evasion can still happen.
exactly.
And we still don't know who's who. So yeah, man, that I love introducing them. Now here's the thing, though. I know we're gonna wrap up pretty soon, but what trips me out is, okay, there are certain things when Marvel and Fox had the same characters. Like there are split characters, meaning because a character is in two universes, both studios could use them. An example of that would be Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Hmm.
Both of them were always Avengers, and they were part of the mutant universe. So that's why Marvel could use them, could use Quicksilver, and so could Fox, because
Right.
they fall in the middle in those companies.
Hmm.
So what tripped me out was the fact that they used the scrolls, because we know that scrolls is Fantastic Four universe,
Right.
and which leads me to believe that they already had the rights to Fantastic Four. That would be a question I would ask Feige. Did Fox give y'all back Fantastic Four already, and you were going to put them out regardless? We just didn't know because they showed the Watchers.
Mm-hmm.
What movie was that where they had Stan Lee with those
Guardians,
Watchers? Yeah, in
Guardians of the
Guardians.
Galaxy 2.
Yeah, that's Fantastic Four characters, man. And they had the scrolls in that movie. So I think they already have Fantastic Four, or they already had them.
Or maybe if they didn't have them, they probably knew that they was going to have them.
No, you can't use them. You can't use those characters. You have to have permission to use those characters.
But
Follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I know that Fox definitely had Fantastic Four IP, but I didn't know that they had those supporting characters.
Yeah, anything connected to those characters are yours. So you can't say, hell yeah. You can't say, well, let's see, Magneto ain't and the X-Men.
Yeah, that I didn't know.
Yeah, you can't use none of that stuff, man. Anything, that's why you can't use Silver Surfer or any of that. Because it's connected to the Fantastic Four universe.
Mm.
So and that's the same thing with Sony. You can't just use Kraven. That's part of Spider-Man.
So now you're validating my conspiracy for this end credit scene in Endgame. Because if that's the case, if they already had the Fantastic Four, then I'm guessing there's a 90% chance that it's going to be some Fantastic Four related end credits.
Yes, I agree. They had the rights to. Like I said, if somebody's smart, they need to ask Feige that question in one of those comic conventions. Because what happened was whenever Fox wanted to use X-Men for TV, they can't just do that. They have to get permission from Marvel. They only have rights to movies, not TV. So that's a permission thing. So Marvel was allowing them to do like Legion and that other X-Men based TV show. Mm-hmm. And Marvel ain't gonna just give you that without you giving them something. They're not that nice. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, you gonna give us something. Because remember, Marvel, what was it that Marvel wanted? And they offered Daredevil back. Oh, you know what it was? They wanted Silver Surfer and Galactus. And they said, you can keep Daredevil and Ghost Rider. Just let us have, because the rights were about to go back to Marvel because they haven't made a movie in a certain amount of time. Mm-hmm. So Marvel was like, hey, y'all can have that if you let us have Silver Surfer and Galactus. And they, from what I heard, Fox said no. And that's how the rights to Ghost Rider and Daredevil came back. Because from what I heard, Marvel wasn't even sweating Daredevil, man. I think it was Jeff Loeb, I believe. It was one of those dudes. Is it Loeb? One of them dudes who run the TV department. He was like, man, that's your Batman. Like, how could you not care about him? They wasn't sweating Daredevil, man. That's why they let that Netflix thing happen. It's like, yo, yeah, you can use them for that. They didn't really think highly
about him now.
For TV, yeah.
Yeah, I think Daredevil makes a good TV show.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah,
it's dope. But see, what's happening now, though, is that now that the Disney Plus is happening, Marvel, because that's two separate things. The TV side and the movie side is completely different. Now that we have the Disney Plus, Feige is over the TV part now. So he's overseeing the movies and the TV because it's going to be truly a connected universe.
Nice.
So it's not going to be like the Netflix, Daredevil, Luke Cage, that's separate. Like, it's truly a shared universe now. So even with the thing I posted with the what if and all that, he's overseeing all of those things.
Nice.
So it's all going to be connected. It's all going to, go back and forth with each other. So it's going to be a true shared universe. So it's going to be interesting. But hey, by the way, do you watch Cloak and Dagger?
I've never seen it.
Oh, you got to watch that, man.
Where is it playing at? Whose streaming service is it on?
It was on Hulu, I believe.
Oh,
But if
that's
you have
probably
cable, it's on cable.
really
Yeah, it's on that Freeform channel.
okay.
So I don't
Because
know what.
I haven't had the opportunity to even check it out. I'm like, damn, where is this thing at?
Yeah, it's
Well,
a
is that going to
station.
end up on Disney?
I don't think so, man. It might be a little too dark.
Hmm.
I'm not sure though, because I didn't even know what the Freeform station was until uh, they got that show. And I'm like, okay, and I start setting it to record. But man, it's very good, man.
Really?
It's very good, man. It's more. It's not a kiddie show. It's kind of dark. It's good, man. Because I've always been a fan of Cloak. You know,
Yeah, me too.
another one of the few black characters, and he looked like a monster too.
Yeah.
From, you know what I mean? How they used to draw him. Now they draw him with a more literal black face. Back in the day, he looked like Freddy. His
Mm.
face did. But yeah, man, they did a great job, like, fleshing that out as something more realistic. You would enjoy it, man.
I'm gonna definitely check it out.
What about Runaways? You didn't watch Runaways?
No, I haven't watched
Oh,
any of the TV shows.
you tripping, man. So
Yeah,
no
I
Teen
haven't.
Titans,
Nope, none of that.
man.
And
Man, you slip.
it hasn't been because I didn't want to. It's just time,
Yeah,
like it's so much shit to watch.
it is. It is,
That's why I'm
man.
kind of glad they're doing the streaming services because at least when you got your phone, you can check that shit out. Because I be at the job checking out Netflix.
Yeah. And that's what I hate, man, because Netflix is so easy to go to. And now that Marvel is gonna go somewhere else, it's like, yo, I don't like that. But I get it.
Yeah,
It's capitalism. So I get
yeah,
it.
that's
But
what it is.
so let me ask you this before we go.
Hmm.
With the Disney Plus, do you think it will actually be a rival to Netflix?
Um, well, it's gonna be a rival because you're gonna definitely get people streaming, but I don't think it's gonna be um a competitive thing. I think that it's sort of like people are not gonna pick one over the other. They're gonna get both.
Yeah.
Like if you want to see Netflix shows, you're gonna see Netflix shows. You want to see Disney, you're gonna see Disney. So it's not gonna be competition in that sense. But also Netflix is putting out a lot of good content, man. Like
Man,
especially like
lots.
their original movies and stuff like that. It's gonna be
Yeah.
hard to beat them with that. But if anybody can do it and actually challenge them, it would be Disney.
Yeah, because Disney, that see streaming is like how when Napster came about,
Hmm.
and the record companies didn't know how to deal with that because they wasn't smart enough to see it coming.
Right.
So it's like people are sharing files now. We're moving into the computer age
Hmm.
of technology and all that. And so with the streaming, now these companies are trying to buy studios now. That's the new thing now for these super big companies to absorb because they need the content. And that's why Disney wanted Fox. They wanted that content because they want to stream. So it's like, yo, if I have Fox and everything that they ever done, and I don't know who Fox is tied into other stuff too, then you got all of Disney's filmography, and now you got the Marvel, the Star Wars. They actually the only ones that could compete. And they own 60% of Hulu, Disney does.
Hmm.
And they trying to buy Warner Brothers stake and another company's stake. And they said the only one that probably won't sell to them is Universal. Because it'll be a middle finger, because Universal wanted Fox. So yeah, man, I think they're the only ones, but it's still weird because it would go to Hulu, a lot of that stuff. I would assume.
And
Because you can't put that on Disney.
isn't it crazy? I think wasn't that movie Roma a Netflix film that was up for
Which
an
one?
Oscar?
What film?
Like Roma, like it was a foreign film. That's a Netflix movie. That was never released on the big screen, and yet it was up for an Oscar.
Yeah,
That's a big deal,
that's where it's going now, and that
you
that's
know.
the thing that Steven Spielberg was pissed about
Mm.
because a lot of these older directors they still have the old school mentality, and it's like, yo, man, a lot of people had to pay their dues, and they can't, bypass going through Sundance and all these other things to get their material out, whereas Netflix could just give you the money, put it on their thing, and then get an Oscar or get nominated
Yeah.
for one. They think they're sidestepping the process.
Oh boy, get out of here.
But yeah. So, and what's funny is he's also the same person who said that big budgeted movies is ruining Hollywood. The dude who actually created them,
Exactly.
really.
That's he should play some responsibility in that.
Yeah. So at least, okay, I guess he's being a hypocrite, but he's still telling the truth. Because if you look at Marvel, and like I said, as much as we enjoy Marvel movies, people center their money around Marvel movies now. If they got a big family, they like, when the Marvel movies coming out, that's when we go into the theater. Other than that, they ain't finna go. Dude, what was that movie? With the dude who flipped the coin and he'll shoot you. Um,
Oh, no Country for Old Men.
yeah, No Country for Old. I always use that movie as my example. When do they put movies like that out now?
Mm.
Those days are over, man.
Yeah, but you know what? Marvel delivers.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like it'll be a problem for me when they're not delivering. Like if you put out, just because a movie has a big budget, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna be popular or people are gonna
Waterworld.
connect with it. Exactly. So it's all, to me, at the end of the day, you can't hate on something that's delivering. Infinity War delivered.
Oh, did it?
You know what I'm
Did
saying?
it?
Endgame is going to deliver. That's just the way it is. So I don't think, I think that it's definitely that lane, that big budget lane. Marvel is definitely running with the globe on that. But I don't believe the narrative that kills the indie circuit. I don't believe that kills the small films. I think that you're still going to have people that can do creative concepts, because at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want a dope concept. We wanted something that we can relate to.
Mm-hmm. What
We know
Marvel
that
that
lane is there.
what Marvel has become is unnecessary evil for Hollywood.
Hmm.
Because if you eat, man, Captain Marvel saved this quarter
Exactly.
of the movie season. Like they
Exactly.
said, it was horrible up until this movie came out,
Hmm.
and it helped Hollywood recover. So Marvel is a necessary evil, man. They just got to jump on the bandwagon now, man. Like because who else was that hated on it? James Cameron hated on Marvel,
Hmm.
which is funny because now Marvel owns Avatar. You know what I mean? He was shitting on his bosses before he even knew he was.
Exactly.
So I mean, man, I know I'm rambling. Do you think Avatar will have as big as an impact as it did back then now that these Marvel movies are out?
No, but I don't think it has anything to do with the Marvel movies. I really don't. I just think that time, you're not gonna catch it. That lightning in a bottle like you did back then. The cat is out of the bag. The technology is so ridiculous right now. Because like when you was watching that Captain Marvel movie, I mean, we take this for granted that we just saw a young Nick Fury throughout the movie, and I never really
Yeah,
even noticed. It's like we just accepted it because it was just so dope.
yeah,
It was nothing, you know what I'm saying? It just looks so good. The technology is there that you're seeing a young Nick Fury, and it's like no big deal to you now. It's just like a
yeah,
part of the scenery.
yeah,
So it's I don't think they're gonna do it unless he comes out with something that's dramatically different. Because when Avatar came out, that was some next level shit.
yeah. It was.
That was some ridiculous shit. So of course, like everybody was running to see it. Now, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's
I'm.
gonna be
I'm.
more the
You think
same.
he? You think he waited too long?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And why? Why do we need to see an Avatar 2? you know, there's really no fucking reason to see one.
Yeah. Because you know what? The rumor that happened, I was like, yo, they need to make that happen. It was when they were saying that they were going to do some Matrix prequels,
Mhm.
and they were, saying that Michael B. Jordan would be young Morpheus. That was the rumor.
Mm.
I think that would work today. I think people would still want to see that. What do you think?
Oh yeah, they want to see it, but it wouldn't blow up the way that those movies did before because it was something brand new. Like even the Matrix, like that technology that they were using was brand new. Nobody ever saw it before.
Yeah, yeah. It was
So
a
it's
it
the
was a
same
game
thing.
changer.
Yeah, so the same thing with Avatar. It's like um it was a game changer where it came out. I don't think, and it was also very impressive. Like what they put into that movie, this guy got together ecologists to create an environment. He got
Yeah.
together linguists to create a language. You know what I'm saying? That movie was ridiculous how much energy and thought was put into it. So I don't see why they need to do another one, especially if you're not going to do anything dramatically different, unless they got something in their bag that we haven't seen yet.
So, yeah, man, I'm really because I can't remember what it was. I don't know if it was in. Yeah, I think it was Infinity War. That was just consuming. It was like damn flesh eating virus or whatever disease. It was eating up everything around it. So a movie that might have been okay, like Ready Player One,
Hmm.
like those movies stood no chance, man. It was like they were just destroying everything. So it's like I'm interested in what a big because there's certain actors who can survive around Marvel. Like somehow The Rock can still he can still kind of make money.
Hmm.
He's still bankable even within this Marvel era that we're in, this comic book era. So yeah, I'm curious as to these franchises that were big because like outside of Marvel, what would be the biggest franchise right now? Maybe Jurassic Park. And I don't even like
Star
those
Wars.
movies, the new ones, but they're
Star
big. It's Star Wars,
Star Wars definitely.
but see, that's still the same people, man. So outside of Disney,
Ooh. Um, as a franchise,
yeah, what's big that
probably
survive in Marvel?
the Fast and Furious.
Yeah, that's one. That and that's The Rock is in that one
Right.
too.
Exactly.
So yeah, man.
Who else? Who else besides that? I can't really think of one.
Yeah.
Because I
So
can't
that
even include Avatar because Avatar was only a one-time movie. It's not. I can't. I don't consider it a franchise.
it's really not until they make some more. You know what? The last great now, I guess there were other ones, but the one that I can remember that was big and people ran to the theaters to see it was Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
That's another franchise. But you know
So
what I feel like in terms of the whole big budget thing? I think that Marvel has made um the reason why these movies can't stand next to them is because they put a lot of time and thought into their big budget movies. Like it's not they don't just put money in them.
yeah,
Creatively they put a lot of time and thought into the product. So
Transformers.
before, yeah, see? Before you could just throw money and say, "Oh, this is movie we put our budget was like 100 something 50 million or 200 million for this," and you put it out, but it's no real creative thought put into it. So
Hmm.
now what it's forcing these movies to do is they got to step up their game. They can't just do that anymore because now
Hmm.
you got Marvel, like you said, is chewing up the scenery.
Yep.
So it's going to be a lot of movies that's going to be affected because if you don't come correct, you're going to get swallowed up.
So you're saying that Marvel's making them step their game up?
Exactly. Because it's not like people can't just say, "Oh, superhero movies." No, don't do that. They
Yeah,
are
that's
putting
reducing them.
out quality product. Bottom line, you can hate it all you fucking want to. It's quality product, and the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, you're right,
But
man.
creatively, from a fan level, a critic level, and just a money making level, it ain't really nobody fucking with them.
No, they run the game right now,
Yeah,
and that was with like we talked about before. This is Marvel who didn't have their biggest characters.
right.
They had to make Iron Man a star. People like the layman think Iron Man is a star, dude. He was a C level character. Let's
Exactly.
okay, C plus.
Exactly. I'm gonna tell you, son. I'm giving you straight from the horse's mouth on this. When I found out that they were gonna do as a first film Iron Man, I was like, Iron Man. That was my first reaction. It's like, why? And then I'm gonna tell you what swayed me. What swayed me was when I saw the concept for the suit. I said, oh shit.
Yeah, it looked
When
good.
I first saw the suit, I'm like, it actually looks better than the fucking comic.
Yeah. Well, the comics started making it like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's how good it was. It's like even Tony Stark. Tony Stark was more of he was more like a dark character in the comics.
Yes.
He was brooding, drunk. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Robert Downey Jr.'s take on that made them change the Tony Stark in the comics.
Yeah.
Like the Tony Stark in the comics and on the animated is based strictly on Robert Downey Jr. now.
Check this out. Back then, I used to go to this comic book store like every Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, man, I used to love it because I would come from work, I would go there, get my nerd fix. We'd actually be having drinks in there and just talking about comics and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the dude who owned the comic store, he used to give me free tickets to a lot of stuff that was coming out. And so back then, like when I saw Iron Man, I got the tickets free.
Right.
Now that just showed you how far these movies have come, because they used to have to entice people to go see them, man.
Right.
Like it's the comic movies is like hip hop to me, where now everybody acting like they always liked it. Everybody is a nerd now. Like get the, you know what I mean? Like come on, dog. Like you don't even know these characters outside of the comics. So now it's the cool thing now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I remember, dude. I remember when it stopped. And I was like, yo, man, you don't give me those free opening tickets no more. He's like, they don't give them out anymore. It's like they have arrived. No more. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that Robert Downey, I think I may have told you this. Like before they cast Robert Downey Jr., you know who I wanted to be Stark when they was saying that they were going to do an Iron Man movie?
Who?
Now tell me if I'm crazy. I wanted George Clooney.
I can understand why.
Ocean's 11. Think Ocean 11.
Yeah, I can understand why. But
I was
think
like,
about it. That would have been a totally different take. He couldn't have the way that Robert Downey did it.
Yeah.
It would. I don't think he would have blown up as much as Downey.
No, because Downey's a better actor, period.
Right.
Right. But I think that it still would have been. Now think about it. They were going to use Tom Cruise. That's who they were going to use. He turned it down. He had to turn it down for that not to happen, because he had other things to do. He was going to do it.
Wow. Now that would have been interesting.
I'm glad that didn't happen, fam.
Yeah, that would have been interesting though. Like a Tom Cruise, Tony Stark.
Yes, that was going to happen.
But I don't think Robert Downey Jr. just killed that role. Like that's his, so nobody can really fuck with him.
Yeah, that was gonna happen, man. That would have changed the whole. That's a different timeline.
Yeah.
If you put Cruise or someone else in that role, because that was the genesis of Marvel Studios. Like that movie had to work for everything you see today to be possible.
Right.
So it was just the right timing. The fact that they gave him a chance, because dude was wilding out back then, man.
Yeah.
All drugged out. You know what I mean?
A lot of people don't know. The first Iron Man, like you said, they gave him a shot because he was kind of like a pariah at that point.
Yeah.
They gave him a shot, and actually, Terrence Howard.
Oh man, my phone is about to hang up.
Oh, you're getting cut?
Yeah, it's gonna. All
right, well, we can end it. We can end it.
No, say your last point.
Well, I was going to say that Terrence Howard made more money in the first Iron Man than Robert Downey Jr. did, because he was coming off an Oscar.
Yes, and that's why they got rid of his black ass after it blew up. Like, yo, we don't need you no more.
But before you get cut off, we got 22 likes, 25 dislikes. So thank you, Thero. Thank you.
That's Thero. What's up. I'm glad y'all could listen and hate, man. That long as they were listening, it's all good.
Thank you, everybody. We're getting out of here, and I know this was supposed to be brief, but we'll do this again with Minister.
Yeah. All right, then.
All right, y'all.
Peace. All right, peace.